Good morning. Um, Thank you for coming to my channel. And if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. It's actually been a few days since I recorded a video. I'm just about done with my list. So I guess there'll be lots of times when I'll be recording any new ones. This one today wasn't planned. I heard a song. And I've actually heard the song years and years and years ago, and I've always loved it, especially the live version. But because I'm in a little bit of a melancholy mood today for lots of different reasons, the song called me over to it, and I listened to it again. And I knew what it was about. It's about the apartheid in South Africa. It's a protest song, really, against the people who were, doing large-scale killings of innocent people who were simply, they were unarmed. They were having peaceful demonstration. None of them were doing anything that was like, I can't call self-defense on it. They were just peacefully demonstrating against racial injustice. And in South Africa, segregation was, I want to say, even worse than it was here in the United States back in the day. In many ways, it was the same kind of thing, but it was worse because, well, for lots of reasons, it was worse. And you know how I do believe that everything's here for an experience, and even my melancholy mood today, it's an experience. It's something that I'm gaining something from, even though I don't really like it. And then I started to think about the people in Ukraine. And I don't know, somebody might hear this video in, 6 years and think, oh gosh, it's an old video. But the people in Ukraine are doing nothing wrong. They're living their lives peacefully and, just getting up and brushing their teeth and going to work and school and taking care of each other. And people were born, people were dying, and just normal everyday life. And somebody comes in, decides that's not okay to have your own life. I want to control these people because I want. And so large-scale bombings in residential areas. I know here in the States we have, and maybe it's all over the world, I probably should know more about that, and I don't. We have a movement called Black Lives Matter. And, at first, when that started, I didn't even understand the scale of why it was important. I have this every life matters thing. So it was hard for me to wrap my head around why they said Black Lives Matter. I mean, I knew that people were being killed, particularly black men or women on occasion, by police officers, or even, there's one in the news today that a young man from Jamaica, I can't remember how long they've been here, the family, but not real long, and he went on a camping trip. I don't know if it was really camping because they were in a house, but they went on, maybe it was like a temporary, like a little vacation home kind of thing. Anyway, he had these 4 friends who he went camping with, and the first news reports out of that were that these 4 white people basically ambushed him and killed him. And then as the coroner got involved and there were witness statements and everything, we find out that the guy had recently bought an AK-47 illegally and took a bunch of mushrooms and was kind of going crazy and, threatening people. And so his friend literally shot him because he was afraid of what was going to happen. And that's kind of been, I don't know a lot about it. It's been proven that that was the case with all the information they have in the autopsy and everything. It's everything lines up with that story. But because we have such a racist, sometimes, society, it's easy enough to add that man in to the Black Lives Matter movement because the man who killed him was white. And obviously it's a totally different thing than apartheid or Ukraine. But it brings me to this feeling that even though it's an experience, we're still separating each other. We're no different in our minds. I mean, we're not going out and doing the things. But remember, way back in the day, way back in the first maybe 15 videos, some way back, I talked about the thought. As soon as the thought enters your head, you've already done it. You've already done whatever it is, if it's good or bad. And so when I think about the Black Lives Matter movement and how important it is, I hate to see it diminished by just putting every black person that ever gets shot or killed in that group. Because, and I'm not saying they deserve it, but I'm saying sometimes there's reasons why they get shot that has nothing to do with racism at all. And when you start thinking that every single person who is shot or killed is because of a racist act, you diminish the importance of the movement. Because people, and I hate to say this is just true, I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about human beings, can hold a candle up or a torch for a movement that means something, and they can protest and they can make a point. And sometimes wake people up, help them to understand. But when you start doing that with every single person, even though they don't fall into the category of being shot, for instance, by a police officer or for no reason or whatever, the attention starts to diminish because it's like, oh, there goes another one. Like, people start not paying attention. And when Hitler did his thing, people paid attention. But they had to wait till they were hurt, right? Well, let them fight their little war. We'll just wait here, and if they hurt us, boy, we're going to come back. And we did. Same thing happened with World War I. And Ukraine, we want to help these people because there's no reason for them to be hurt. No reason for anybody to come in and try to take over their country. They didn't do anything. They were just living their lives. And Russia doesn't have to own them. But if we step in too much, with a show of force, for instance, and say, listen, this ain't right, it's going to be World War III. And we have nuclear things now. And that crazy guy over in Russia, he doesn't care. He doesn't care, or he wouldn't be bombing civilians. If he can kill mamas and babies, if he can kill little kindergartners, or young women and men who are just starting to live their lives, or old people who just want to die gracefully. If he can do that, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He'll bomb us all. He doesn't care. My daughter's in South Korea with my 4 grandchildren. There's a nut who lives right above the border. I think he's friends with this guy. China's really close to my daughter too. They're friends with this guy. All the crazy people are friends. Apartheid, where white people believed that black people couldn't do this, couldn't do that, couldn't live here, couldn't live there. They were really under the thumb. Of course, Nelson Mandela, he was a hero. So I listened to this song. It's called Weeping. It's a live version done by Josh Groban on Mandela Day. I think it was like 2009 or 8 or something. It was a while back. And he brought in he was in South Africa, or at the time he heard the song when he was in South Africa, and he recorded it, but for the live version he had this South African singer also on the stage with him, and some of the background singers were all from South Africa. It was beautifully done. I'm sure it's going to be right below this video. Gorgeous song, a lot of fun. It's a song that makes you can't help but move, you know. That's probably what I need today. I need a song that can help me move. It was written by a man named Dan Heyman, like in the 1980s sometime. But it's the separation that's getting me, I guess. How we have to label each other. And I talked about this in a video, so I'm not going to go off on it. I mean, obviously it's a necessary experience. It's, you know, you got to be the bad guy, you got to be the good guy, you got to be the guy in the middle that doesn't care. But today, because of my melancholy mood, all over communication, by the way, I hate that some of that creeps in sometimes, you know. It's not really an insecurity, it's like, I don't know. Something from my childhood doesn't want to let go. Just creeps in once in a while. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I know I'm fine. I know I'll be fine in, you know, probably half an hour. But separation between mother and daughter, husband and wife, teacher and her students, blonde and blue-eyed compared to black hair and dark brown eyes. Peaceful people, sleeping in their beds, enjoy their days. And people who simply don't care. Separation, labels. Even though Weeping is a protest song against that separation, that apartheid, and the killings that were happening for no reason. Well, no earthly reason. Today, as I think about all these things, title of the song, Weeping. It's a really good one for this whole conversation, isn't it? And I know when I'm sitting like this and I'm not enthusiastic at all, it's probably really boring. So you're probably weeping out of boredom if you haven't turned me off already. Anyway, that's enough. I just had a talk. I don't know if you got to get it out, I guess, you know. Stuff's going on in your life that you don't seem to have much control of, or feels like somebody knocked you down with a 2x4 and you fell down the steps and you're all bruised, you know. Talking it out helps, so I'm glad you're there for me. Let me know what you think about separation. And if you listen to the song and like it, come on back here and let me know. So I think it's wonderful. And I'll be back. I only have a couple more things to talk about. And then I'll be back. So have a wonderful day. And thanks for listening.